Welcome back to Tea with G. You know what it is, the G with the T. I got some lemon balm tea today in this beautiful cast iron teapot. And we have a special guest today, a very special guest. It's a family member, and actually we met today for the first time. We had each other on social media for many years, but it's the first time that we are spending time together, meeting in person. So I'm extremely excited to show you her. Her name is Briellen, and that's my cousin. And I'll actually put a picture of how we're related, who we're related through, on the screen as well. So welcome, Briellen. How are you?
Gabriel, it's been so good to get to know you the past hour.
Yeah, we've been chopping it up a little bit, eh?
Yeah, I feel like we have known each other on social media, at least through that platform, for about 6 years now. And don't quote me on that time frame, but I feel like it's been about 6 years.
Yeah,
living
I think so too.
Around each other and never meeting, but knowing of each other.
Yeah, I've been in Vancouver since 2015.
2015, okay.
Yeah, and I used to work for your brother, Chad.
So
he has a
met my
tree
brother.
business, yeah. And he used to talk about you, and he's like, "Oh, I have a sister." I'm like, "Oh, really? Well, let me add her." I think that's probably how it happened.
For you, really?
Yeah.
I knew about you through Paul.
Oh, really? Okay. It might have been through Paul too then. I'm not
Paul
sure.
messaged me on Facebook one day, and he was like, "Hey, you have a cousin who lives near you. You should get to know them." And I think Paul is very family orientated.
Yes.
He's a sweet guy. Have you met him?
I have. I actually went to his home in Nova Scotia.
Okay, I would love to go to his home.
Yeah. He lives in Hammonds Plains, outside of the city. You know, it's kind of like in a suburban area. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's a really cool guy. Yeah, Paul Ellis is our family member, and he's basically connected, I think, most of the family. Like, he's done a lot of research.
He's one of those family members who goes into the family tree and kind of brings everyone close together.
Yeah, messages everyone,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is your cousin, and you're related like this." Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's awesome. Shout out to Paul.
Shout out to Paul.
Shout out
Thanks,
to
Paul.
Yeah.
When he first told me about you, mentioned another cousin, and I'm going to mess up the name because this was years ago. Chico
Mendez?
Chico Mendez?
Yeah, her name is, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name. I'm sorry. She was living in Vancouver too, but her mom is Tamara, who lives in Edmonton, Alberta.
Is Chico still in Vancouver?
I'm not sure. She was doing the radio thing. Like, she was a radio host and stuff. She went out to Toronto. I'm not sure where she is today, but I met her.
Oh, you met her?
Yeah, I met her. She actually brought me onto the radio show. She was doing it at the Burnaby Mountains. She had a radio show at the university. And I came on, and she's like, "Hey, it's my cousin." I went on the radio. I was like, okay, I don't know what to say, but it was cool.
Was that your first experience kind of talking to a public audience?
I would say probably, yeah, it probably was. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was really cool to be live on air. Yeah.
Absolutely. She sounds like a cool person.
Yeah. I hope we can.
Like one sentence you told me about her, but.
Yeah, I hope we can get to meet her someday.
I'll
probably reach out to her.
Yeah, we should reach out. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
What made you want to start the podcast? Was it that kind of experience?
Not that particularly, but I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while. Probably like a year, because I have a bigger vision, which is called Global Citizen. And so there's a core philosophy in that, and it's like an umbrella brand. So picture, like, I don't know if you know the brand Virgin, Richard Branson. He's got like planes and Virgin Radio.
Oh, yeah.
So he owns that, right?
Okay. Virgin Records?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And he's got planes, he's got Virgin Mobile, he's got all kinds of different businesses in different industries.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I want my business to be. It's like I got one parent brand, Global Citizen, and then under that there's like 25 different brands all connecting to each other.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So the Global Citizen brand, what's that going to focus on?
So that's complicated, but right now I'm kind of gearing towards regenerative luxury.
Regenerative luxury.
Yeah. And regenerative is basically, how can I put it? Like, organic farming, right, is obviously farming organically, no pesticides and things like that, no GMO seeds. And regenerative kind of takes it a step further. It's like when you're farming, you're taking everything into consideration, the whole cycle. So when you're growing the food, you're thinking about the soil is also benefiting and getting richer. For example, if you have a pest problem, right? Like bugs are eating some plant, say it's tomatoes, and you have an infestation and they're just eating at your tomatoes. You don't go ahead and spray pesticides on them. You figure out a natural way how to repel them. So you might put a plant that they like more off to the side somewhere else and grow that, and then it'll make them go that way.
I've
so
heard
you
of
use
people doing
nature to combat those things, you know.
What is it? There's 3 things people like to grow beside each other because they benefit each other. It's like corn, peas, and something else. They're called like the big 3, and you grow them together, and then each one of those crops helps the other one grow. And one of them's kind of like an anti-pest kind of a thing too. I don't really know much about it, but I remember hearing about this recently. A friend of ours is a organic farmer.
Nice.
And it's a tough job.
Yeah, it is, because like, what would you call it? Like industrial farming, or I guess the chemical farming with the non-organic way is so much easier because, okay, there's a pest control problem. You just spray the pesticides, right? There's like this seed,
But
they make GMO seeds. Yeah, like they make GMO seeds so that it can be the perfect shaped apple or whatever. But there's so many side effects that come with that, right? You're playing with nature.
So with your business, you want each individual thing to kind of support the other?
So the regenerative luxury, so picture like luxury, how we know it, is kind of materialistic, I would say.
It's a weird combination between materialistic and artistic. But yes, it is materialistic.
But like say, and it's a lot of just like mass marketing and stuff like that too. And what people say is luxury is because of the marketing a lot of the times. And this is just my own perspective. Don't kill me, people out there. But I want to put luxury on a different level. So how can I say this? Luxury for me, for Global Citizen, would be if you get a handmade product from an artisan who has mastered that skill. So say a carpet maker, right?
Yeah.
They've been 6 generations in the family or whatever, and they make this carpet by hand with natural materials in the traditional way, using like ancient methods. And their heart and soul goes into this product. To me, that's more luxury when you put that in your home, because it has a story, it has meaning, it has a soul that created that, handcrafted that, as opposed to getting 1 million carpets from the same factory made in an hour. There's no soul.
An artificial price tag put onto them.
Yeah.
You're paying for the brand. Yeah. Paying for the individual artist like that, you're still technically paying for the brand, but it's a better brand to support. And I feel like that type of luxury you're aiming for is the type of luxury I see when I go to farmers markets.
Yeah.
And you're buying from the small vendors there, and like the girl who hand makes soaps, or the guy who's like, oh, I went to this really cool market lately in North Van, and this guy builds maps of all the islands around here, and they're planed on wood, and then each level, like the ocean's deep, and then kind of raises up on levels like this until you get to like ground level, and then another plane of wood go up to the mountains. So it's like a 3D printed wood thing, but he hand carves them all. And they're maps of the islands around this area. Very expensive, but it was really, really cool. That is like a luxury product you would be supporting a local guy with.
Yeah, that's interesting. Exactly. So that's a good example. So now when you put regenerative luxury into it, each business, so now say it's a clothing business, right? I take the regenerative luxury approach. So the clothing materials, say it's organic cotton, silk, hemp, wool, I take only natural materials that would have been around 1,000 years ago, right? And then those materials would come from regenerative farms. So organic cotton, right? Like I said, you can have organic cotton or regenerative cotton. It's the way it's grown.
Okay.
So everything is a cycle from beginning to end, and everything is benefiting the other. Right? So it's
see
like,
the vision.
Yeah. So if I was to create plastic, right? the person who created that, it's very practical, it's very useful, but in the end, what has it done to
I
Earth,
think
right?
it's
They
one of
didn't
the most
think about the
destructive
end.
things we've ever created. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's useful.
So the regenerative approach is whatever I use or create, I know what the end cycle is going to be. I know how to put that back in without being destructive,
Okay.
you know?
I
And I'm
like
still
it.
working on this.
Yeah, it's
So
it's an idea in development, but I love the direction of it, and I think we need more of that.
Yeah.
Especially in fashion. Fast fashion is, oh God, I love fashion so much. It's hard to say because I love fashion. It's one of my biggest hobbies, but
Totally agree with
fast
you on this.
fashion
I know where
is
you're going with this too.
terrible for the environment.
I
And
know.
like, God, I want that bag so badly though.
Because the hard thing is that we've come so far as evolving with different fabrics and materials, right? Mm-hmm. Some things with natural materials you can't do, right?
You can do things you can't do with not natural materials.
True. Yeah.
But yes, yeah.
But like, say for example, like what's the most popular, polyester, for example, right? Mm-hmm. You can do so much with it, different patterns, different colors, different uses that you can't do with natural things. So but it's so destructive, so it's so hard to like, I want that so bad.
I think
it's
there
so
should
cool.
be a limit to how much of these things we produce per year. But it's never going to happen. But maybe if people start making little businesses, global citizens, regenerative luxury, then maybe in the future, like, that is a direction we could maybe go in, hopefully.
Yeah, I think if I can explain the philosophy and people understand the philosophy behind it, which is just create with the end in mind, right? If you think from the beginning how something's going to end up, then you'll be more mindful of what you use and what you create.
Create with the end in mind. I really like that phrase.
Yeah, I just made that.
I
up.
just made that up on the spot. That's actually a really good phrase. The way I think about fashion, and that is, if you have an ice cream cone and you're handing it to a kid and there's ice cream all around this kid and one of them is going to be like a yogurt bar and you're like, this ice cream cone is terrible for you. You shouldn't have this, but there's so much ice cream. There's so much ice cream that the kid can just eat and eat and eat. And there's no repercussion until eventually maybe the kid gets a diabetes, but that's going to be years down the road. So we're not seeing the immediate repercussions of buying fast fashion. We're not going to pick the more renewable resource right now because there is so much available for terrible fabrics and terrible fashions that are just going to end up in landfill. And that is what's offered.
Yeah.
People don't really have the foresight to kind of buy a piece of clothing and think, where's this going to end up? It's not the social norm. It's not kind of thought about in any way. And it's so widely available in the store where you go, like, it's mostly going to be polyester.
Yeah, and I guess because it's cheap to make and it's practical and things like that. But yeah, it's destructive. Just like plastic, it's so practical, right? But it's everywhere and you can't get rid of it now.
Very practical. Doesn't plastic, and I'm not sure, but doesn't plastic have a connection to advancements in medical fields, like less infections and higher surgery rates because of throwaway plastics and stuff like that? I'm pretty sure they have a connection.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
So plastics in a way do like have had a huge benefit on the world, but also very destructive.
Yeah, so that's why it's difficult, because even for me, like, I would love everything to be natural in my perfect world, right? Like, the homes were built with clay, mud homes,
Cob homes.
Cob homes or hempcrete.
But that's not seen as luxury. That's seen as hippie.
Yeah, but I'm gonna figure out a way how to make that luxury. That's my goal, like, to make natural look luxurious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are moving kind of in that direction, maybe a little bit. There's a bit of a mindset shift. I think you could do it, or at least start the ball rolling. Like, go for it.
It's 2025. Anything's possible. Let's have some tea. We got lemon balm right here. One of my favorite, absolute favorite herbs. The other name for this is Melissa. So you may know it by the name Melissa.
Melissa.
Yeah. Lemon balm or Melissa?
Never heard of Melissa in my life.
Here you go, Briellen.
Thank you. And I did
Welcome.
ask you going into this what your favorite teas have been these days. And this is the one you chose, and I'm excited.
Yeah. I think I have this almost every night. I haven't had it for a couple of nights now, but I do have it quite often because it's a relaxant. Relaxes the nervous system. So it's good at the end of the day.
You said you studied herbalism.
Yeah, I did. Took an online course.
Took an online course. That counts as studying in my books. I'm a huge tea fan. We really have a lot of tea in my house. My mother it's her doing, it's her fault, but like tea's a huge part of my family, absolutely. More
That's
so
awesome.
Earl Grey tea.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty popular.
Yeah. I think we solely fund this one company of Earl Grey tea. My mom buys the boxes in like crates of these individual tea packages. It's like a loose leaf tea, and I think there's 40 packages of loose leaf tea, which are 200 grams. I'm spitballing there. I'm pretty sure per package, and we go through one of those packages every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, you guys drink a lot of tea then, for sure.
A lot of Earl Grey tea.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So your mom loves Earl Grey. Mm-hmm. And it's. I think we're connecting quite well, eh? For the first day that we are seeing each other.
Mm-hmm. First day meeting. What have I learned about you so far? What are things in common? We both love travel. Mm-hmm. That's actually the first thing that connected us was our love for travel.
You want to share that story? The turkey story?
I think you have a better memory of it than I do, because I didn't even remember that that's how we kind of connected through Turkey.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we connected. I mean, we had each other before that.
Yeah.
We probably like messaged from time to time, hey, what's up?
Periodically.
But I was away for 6 months. I went to Poland, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkey.
Yeah.
And so when I was in Turkey, you messaged me and you're like, oh, that's so cool. I want to see that, was it a temple or something?
It was a temple of some kind. You had a photo in one or near one.
Or a mosque.
Or a mosque.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And it was beautiful.
Turkey's gorgeous.
Turkey's beautiful. And then a little bit later, I ended up in Turkey. And
like a couple of weeks later or something.
Yeah, because I was in Europe at the time and I was going through a breakup and I had this money and I was already in Europe. And I was like, well, I might as well travel. And I learned that a friend of mine was also traveling from Victoria, a friend actually. And her and I messaged each other and I was like, I really want to go to Turkey, but I don't have any experience quite yet much traveling alone and I don't want to go there alone. And she was like, well, I'd love to go with you. So we meet in Turkey a couple weeks after I saw your photos there, because I chose that because of your photos.
Oh, really?
And I was like, this
good
place
to
looked
know.
cool. So, and then I went and I spent 3 months there.
So where did you end up first? Like you went to Istanbul, I guess?
Yeah, landed in Istanbul.
Uh-huh.
And then I think I was there for a few days. And then my friend and we went down the coastline, the west coastline.
Okay, the West Coast, yeah.
And
like Izmir and stuff?
Yeah, and Ankara is the capital. I don't remember.
Ankara, there's like Antalya, which is south.
Which one's on the coast? Antalya or Ankara?
Probably Ankara. Because
Ankara.
Antalya is on the bottom of Turkey,
Yeah.
on the coast.
My Turkish friends are going to be really upset about me right now. Yeah, so we traveled the coastline and then we went to Cappadocia. Did you make it there?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I would have loved to. I mean, I see it in the photos all the time, and I'm like, I have to go.
So why didn't you make it there? Where did you go when you were there?
Well, I was sick, actually. Like, when I got to Turkey, I got sick, like, the second day. So, and it was pretty bad. Like, I could barely go outside.
Oh.
So I was in Istanbul. Then I got sick, but I was still trying to enjoy the time. So I still went out and made the effort, but I just couldn't really enjoy that much. Mm-hmm. So I spent, like, probably 2 weeks in Istanbul or something. And then I went down to Bodrum. Flew down to Bodrum. And then from Bodrum, we took the bus, like local bus, like, and to the next city, Marmaris. Then Marmaris to Sarıgerme, where the airport was to fly out of.
And how long were you there for?
Total,
Yeah.
like in Turkey?
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks, almost a month, probably.
3 weeks is a great amount of time. I'm so sorry that you were sick for that, though. Are you a history person? Is that like, do you travel for culture or history, food? Like what?
I travel for cultures. It's like
Culture.
so all of that, like history, culture, food, like all of it blended into one. The people,
Absolutely, yeah.
the architecture. I just love to see different people and talk to people and hear their stories and immerse myself in the culture to understand them.
That's one of my favorite things too. Also the history. Love history. And Turkey has so much history. It's just
my goodness, yeah.
brimming with it. Way more than Canada has, although.
Absolutely. Did you get to go to, there's one part, have you seen the movie Troy?
Yeah, and I went there.
You went there?
Yeah,
I
Troy's-
heard about it.
I remember watching Troy as a kid and I was just like, that is so cool. And I idolized this like image of a society. And then I got to go see it and it was just like a dream come true. Don't get me wrong, it's a small place and it's a little rundown and like there's nothing around it. But it's cool to get to like live that.
No, for sure. Like as soon as I heard it, I'm like, what? Troy's
You didn't get-
around
did
here?
you
I didn't
didn't
get to
go?
go
Oh,
see it.
no.
No. Like I said, I was so sick. Like I really couldn't do as much as I wanted to. And there was
Okay.
even there's like a place with water and white,
Water.
like little pools of water. And
In
there's
a
like
building?
a white thing outside. It's all white. Like it looks like marble.
Oh, Pamukkale.
I guess
I went there
that's-
too.
Oh man, you did so much stuff over there.
I wasn't sick. Actually, I was sick, but I wasn't that type of sick. I was like fatigued sick.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah. You guys, I guess you have to go back and like
Absolutely have to go back. Yeah.
check it out again because there's some cool spots there. Pamukkale, I can't remember. They have in the area these pools called Cleopatra pools, and like the rumor or the history, I guess, is that she used to go there and she loved these pools. It was like a natural hot spring.
Oh, I could see her why she loved it. I mean, I saw the photos. I was at the resort and I actually saw like on the tour guide, they had it as part of a program. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go. But I was just like, I'm so sick. Damn it. Here,
no.
want some more tea?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess you have to go back or, do the same philosophy about travel as I do, where if you've been somewhere, you've seen that and it might be amazing and wonderful and maybe one of the best places you've ever seen, but you know that there's other places that could be better.
100%.
So you like have such a hard time going back somewhere you've already been. You're like new experience, new culture, new place. You did that too?
Totally. Yeah, totally. Because the world is so big and we live once and it's like, I want to see everything.
There's so much to see.
Yeah. So and it's expensive, right? Also.
Super expensive,
To get
yeah.
around.
You're paying to have an experience you've probably maybe already had. And if you really, really loved that experience, like snowbirds, they go to the same spot every year, Arizona, probably somewhere. I'm glad that they love that experience, but I just feel like there's other experiences that are new and exciting. And I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that it opens your consciousness, expands your mind, and culturally enriches you when you go and see different things. So the people who go to the same spot every year, like I don't knock them. If they love
Don't
it, they
knock
love
them.
it. Yeah, but you're not expanding your consciousness as much, right?
No.
Your view of the world, and all that
Maybe
stuff.
that's not what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fine. But for us, maybe that is what we are looking for. And so maybe going back to the same spot repetitively is not something we want.
But it's a bit of a shame. Like when I think about it, I'm like, it's
It's a shame
like
that
the
you
world is
missed
so
out.
big,
Yeah.
and you don't get to experience all these amazing things. And the other thing is that I know a lot of people like this, and there's a lot of people like this, but there's a lot of people who sit in front of the TV, especially old people. They'll sit in
that's
front of the
common.
TV, watch the news, and be
About
like,
other places.
and just have this perspective on it, like it's the worst place in the world. And it's unfortunate that they never are going to be able to experience that because of that fear won't even allow them to cross that bridge. You know what I mean?
It's really hot in here, Emily. I have a hate relationship with the news. I think all of the news that's broadcast to us is incredibly negative. And when you're constantly exposing yourself to negative things like this, it's going to rewrite your brain and the way you view your everyday life. So you're constantly exposed to these negative stories. You're going to start looking for the negative in life everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't hate the news so much if it was focused on happy stories, but that's not what sells. And so,
unfortunately, yeah. One of my ideas was actually to make a little news thing called The Good News.
The Good News.
And just only put all the good news from around the world.
Oh, things like that are getting really popular on like Instagram and TikTok. Who's that guy that shares the dog videos? Like the dogs were good again today. Have you seen him?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so cute.
I got to check it out though.
Yeah. And then he just releases like really cute, heartwarming things about news about dogs, like wonderful things dogs have done in the last week.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like if more people share things like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's becoming more popular with younger generations where like I'm feeling like mid 30s and younger, we're like, no, the news is not for me. What's happy? What's going on out there? That's a happy thing.
Yeah. The world has been tough, especially since COVID, I think. There's a lot of negativity and it's been hard.
Oh yeah.
On the people's minds and the soul, and it's heavy.
Financially
too.
Since
Things have
COVID,
gotten like triple more expensive.
Oh my gosh. I can't even like, and I like going into COVID, everyone's like, we're going to go into a bigger depression. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm ready for that. And I just like couldn't comprehend what that was going to be like.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of still going on. Like the after effects are still happening.
Yes. Things have doubled or tripled in price in the last 5 years. Insane.
But here we are.
Here we are.
We're still keeping it positive and we're still being optimistic.
Yeah. And we're still living in Vancouver, which is like an expensive place to live, but it's beautiful. And I do find it enriches the soul quite strongly. You can't see it, but the mountains are just over there.
Yeah. We had to close the blinds because it was a bit bright, but hopefully next time we could show you some mountains.
You can go from city to ocean to mountains, then go on a shopping spree. You could go from the beach to skiing on a spring day. Mm-hmm. Like, that's really cool. It's a cool place to live.
You can literally go golfing and skiing in the same day.
Yeah, but you pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's worth it, I think, because, I mean, it's very expensive. But, I mean, I've traveled quite a bit and so have you. So you've seen some of how the other countries operate. And when you come back here, you can, well, I can speak for myself, but I really appreciate Vancouver and what Canada has, you know.
That's why I haven't left permanently yet. Although there's some cultures out there that they're just naturally happy people and so wonderful to be around.
True.
I remember my favorite thing about Spain was waking up and going to the beach, and there'd be old men and women, so cute, sitting out on the little patios, because there's patios everywhere, with their glass of wine at 9 a.m. And I was like, yes, that's a good way to do it.
That is a good way. Yeah, that's a good work-life balance, right?
Oh, absolutely. I do think many other countries do the work-life balance better than ours.
For sure. I think, we're
worse,
definitely
but
down there on that list. We're not doing too well on that.
But I think that's another movement that's coming, because our generations aren't happy with the work-life balance and the way that it's been set up lately. So I feel like you're seeing a bit of a shift with the societal structure coming on, which is great. And that's great. We need a little bit of shift. Shift makes change is good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love it. Good talks. Good conversation.
We had so much good conversation before we even set up the mic, and every time something really interesting would come up, you'd be like, that's a good topic. We should talk about that.
Yeah. And now we can't really remember, but we're just kind of free flowing right now. We're just vibing and it's all natural. So, yeah. But before we spoke, probably like an hour and a half before this?
Before this, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was it an hour and a half?
Probably about that.
Yeah, up in your apartment. And it's nice. I feel like you hold a conversation very well.
I appreciate that.
It doesn't feel forced or unnatural in any way to just speak to you about things.
Thank you. That's good. I think the tea helps, probably.
The tea is a recent addition. We were talking for an hour and a half
That's
before
true.
the tea.
That's true.
But the tea is lovely. I do love the tea. I can't wait until someone drops the tea while drinking tea on your podcast.
You know what? I think one of my previous guests, we almost did drop it. Like she held out the cup, and I think her chair went back, so she pulled back, and then she almost dropped it. So like a little bit of spilled happened, but it's okay. That episode hasn't dropped yet. It'll come out soon.
How many episodes have you filmed that haven't been released yet?
Actually, I'm gonna correct myself because that's gonna come out before this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done 4 episodes before this. This is the 5th.
This is the 5th one.
I have 2 uploaded so far.
Okay.
I got Trey and Racina up there so far.
Yeah, Trey's the one that I watched a bit of. Yeah.
I actually saw him just before I went to meet you downstairs. I saw him. He just went to the gym.
Oh, does he
And
live in the building?
Yeah.
Ha, perfect.
So I was talking with him for a bit, and then I saw you calling. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah. We kept trying to call each other through Instagram audio, and that's just not the way.
Yeah, I don't know if the connection in the gym wasn't too good or something. Probably on my end. Was your connection okay? Or?
No, it
also
wasn't.
yours.
I've just never had any luck with Instagram audio.
Okay.
Have you?
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, it's probably my end then.
Oh, man. So I used to work for your brother.
Yeah.
He's got a tree cutting company in...
Yeah, he's an arborist, I think they
An
call
arborist,
it.
that's right, yeah. He's very skillful. The way he
Absolutely.
climbs those trees. And the rope work, like I never understood until I was working with him how important rope work can be.
Did you get to learn?
No, I was just carrying the branches and feeding them into the chipper.
Great guy.
Yeah. But that's extremely hard work. It's a lot harder than it looks.
Oh, absolutely.
Like those
And it's
branches, they
dangerous.
look small, but when they drop down, they're like 10 times bigger than me.
Yeah. When I learned that he was buying an arborist company, arbor company. Yeah, whatever. I was a little nervous. It's a dangerous job to have. Many people die. I actually have had a family member die from a tree falling on them.
No way.
And I know someone else who's had a family member die from a tree falling on them. Is not uncommon.
Especially in BC. Like I'm from Montreal, so the trees are like 10 times smaller. But here
Oh, yeah.
the trees are big and
Yeah.
they're juicy. Yeah.
Yeah, because we live in what's it called? A temporal rainforest.
And the soil here is very, very rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like learning that skill set?
Well, I mean, I built a lot of strength for sure, just carrying the branches. And watching him work was very cool. It opened my mind a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. And just being around him was cool. Being around family, getting to meet him. And
Did you meet my dad?
I did not,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
My dad also lives in the area.
Really?
Yeah, I would have thought that Chad, my brother, would have been like, hey, your family, let's go meet another family member.
Yeah. Chad, what the heck, man? I'm gonna reach out to you after this. Yeah, I think maybe your dad wasn't in the area at the time or something. I think he was trying to set it up,
Okay.
but I don't remember exactly
Okay.
what had transpired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been in a long time, many, many years. But every summer, that side of the family, my grandpa's side of the family, goes to Creston to go visit my grandpa. It's Chad, my dad, grandpa, and all my aunties.
So your dad's dad?
Yep, my dad's dad. So you're my dad's cousin's kid.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're distant cousins.
We're
like-
distant cousins.
So, my great grandfather, Tommy Falls, his mother was, I better be getting this right. His mother was Rita Harper.
Harper's? Yeah, I come from the Harper line.
Yeah, so it's from that side. So it's my great grandfather's mother.
Okay. So we are distant cousins, but family is family, and that's so exciting.
Family is family. Yeah, absolutely.
so
we
excited.
still share the same bloodline. Even if it's a little bit, we still have the same blood, which is
And you look, you have a
cool.
lot of facial features that kind of I can see in other parts of the family line. I didn't get much of them, although you said I look like my brother.
you do a little bit, yeah.
Anyways, they go visit Grandpa
You said in Creston?
in Creston.
Where is that?
Maybe you come along
I would love to.
because I don't want to do the road trip alone.
Where is Creston?
Creston. So if you're looking at the map of BC, it's going to be along the border towards the east, kind of close to Alberta, but also kind of close to the United States border.
Okay. So it's quite a trip.
I don't know, about 10 hours. That's just a guess.
Okay.
From here, 10 hours maybe.
Yeah, I've never driven. Like I've driven through Calgary to here, so I've taken that highway, but I've never gone.
Calgary's further up and out.
Exactly. Yes, I've never gone like along the border in
Okay.
BC, and that's kind of where you're talking about it. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it's a what's it called? It's not the Kootenays.
No, the Kootenays is like. I'm still learning BC. Sorry, I'm from Montreal originally, but
It's a dry biosphere. It's like almost deserty.
okay, so that's kind of like where Kelowna is, right? Kelowna's kind of semi-desert.
Yeah, Kelowna though is up, and Creston's kind of like down and over to the
Closer
east.
to the border.
Yeah.
Okay.
Closer to both the Alberta border and the United States border.
Okay. Is it mountainous over there?
They called them mountains. I don't remember them being like mountains.
Not real mountains like this.
They
like hills
were
then.
like if a mountain and a hill had a baby.
Okay, gotcha.
They were like, you know?
And is it lush like it is here, like rainforesty vibe?
No, dry.
It's more dry. Okay, like yeah.
It was
just
dry. Yeah. Interior. Oh, interior. Isn't it just called the interior?
That makes sense. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Cool spot though. So if you want to meet more family members, maybe you
Would
come
love
along.
to. Would love to. Yeah, because I've only met you and Chad from that side, and I think
You've met Paul. Maybe I tell Paul you're coming and he takes the trip out.
Paul should come. Yeah, all the way across the country for Paul. He's done it before though. He
That's how
loves
I met
doing
him.
that. Oh,
I met
really?
him at one of those family gatherings.
Okay.
Yeah, cool guy.
Yeah, he's really nice.
He's very supportive. He's always commenting on things on Facebook and liking photos and cheering on and trying to connect people with other family members. And
Yeah.
it's nice.
I imagine that he's got a tough time sometimes because even me, like, I'm kind of that person too. I like to connect my family and stuff like that. And sometimes you feel like you're just pulling a lot of weight. You're trying to force people to do things and they're like, yeah, they're not as interested or whatever. Maybe Paul might feel like that too sometimes.
I
but-
feel like that.
Yeah?
I do that a lot in my mother's side of the family too.
Okay.
And so I understand what that's like. And Paul definitely probably feels that.
For sure, yeah.
But I think it's more of like a Hail Mary. You throw it out there and you're like, you have this family member. And then it's up to that person to take the reel or not. It took us years. But we met.
But we met and now we're here. It's incredible. Like, life is so unpredictable that way. And that's why I love it because things just happen. And I really appreciate this time that we're having right now, you know?
It was exciting to get invited to your podcast. I think we both kind of like artistic video endeavors and documenting life that way. Both of us have that in common.
You're creative, right? You do a little bit of, like you said, you did a commercial before.
I've done small commercial acting. I used to model when I was younger. That was so much fun. That was like my dream. I'd always wanted to be a model. And I film a lot. I'm on social media all the time filming, and I just really put myself out there. And whether people take it or they don't, it doesn't matter. I have fun doing it. I don't expect it to go anywhere. If it did, that would be cool. But in the end of the day, it's for me. It's for my enjoyment. I enjoy putting those videos out there.
I love that perspective. That's
Making a
awesome.
fool of myself more often than not. But whatever.
I'm going to put her Instagram in the bottom. Is that okay with you? Can I share your Instagram?
It's an open profile.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, and so we have that in common. What else do we have in common?
Yeah, travel. We're creative.
Creative. That's creative, yeah.
We're still learning, I guess.
Your
right?
dad is musical.
Yeah.
There's
There's a lot of musical.
There's a lot of musical people in
our
our family. On my dad's sisters as well. Very musical. I love music. I'm just instrumentally challenged. I can't figure out the but I love music, and I did concert choir and jazz choir, and your dad did a lot of music. Did you do music?
I made beats. So like my dad was like a producer at one point. Like he creates all his own music. So he's figured out how to do all the, I don't know, what's the program again? Damn it. Anyway, there's a program, a very famous one.
GarageBand?
No, that's like really basic.
It's pretty famous, but yes, it is basic.
Yeah. But yeah, there's more professional equipment. Like Dr. Dre would use stuff like this.
Okay.
So my dad uses that to record himself, and he makes his own music, and like each line of instrument he'll put together, he'll mix it himself. Like it's pretty incredible. He never went to school for it. It's all natural, just by ear.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a musician. He's like the best, I would say the best blues artist in Montreal. He's booked like 4 or 5 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Good for him. And so you got that through making beats. You make beats sometimes, or did?
I did. I would like to start again. It's been a long time since I've done it.
Say that you have a bit of an ear for that type of a thing, though?
I think so, yeah.
Then you got that.
Yeah. I've got a bit of an ear for that, like what sounds good. And I can't play the piano like as far as notes and stuff, but I can just by ear. And I used to make beats just like by ear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're fashionable.
Thank you.
I love fashion, so that's a thing in common. I'm just trying to think of all the things we have in common.
We have a lot already. Like that's like 3 or 4 already.
That's 3 or 4.
Pretty incredible. Yeah. And I think a lot of that just comes from our family, because our family is all over the place, right? From East Coast, Nova Scotia to West Coast, they made it everywhere.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
the musical side, so travel, music. And what was the other thing you said?
Music, creative in
All
general.
around.
All of those are just creative things, actually. Like even travel, it could be very much seen as a creative endeavor. Creative people need certain types of information to come into their brain to feel saponsified, and travel really does that. You're absorbing a lot when you travel.
Yeah, you're taking yourself out of a routine, right? Especially if you're like backpacking, that kind of travel.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
Although it's the only one I know, and I'm too poor to afford the other type of travel, so who knows? Maybe I'd love a resort. I don't know.
Well, hopefully one day you can experience it just to see the differences.
And if it sucks, we'll go back to backpacking.
You're lucky you experienced backpacking first, though, because that's kind of like the foundation, the base.
Backpacking on a budget.
Could you imagine some people have never experienced that, though? Like they're missing out on a lot.
Yes.
Like just going to a resort every time and not even engaging with the...
Well, there's many people who can't even leave the country. Like they never have, they never will. Travel is just not something that's available to them or interest to them.
That's true, yeah. Some people are too busy just surviving to even, like you said, right?
So very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah. That's one thing in life. Every day we wake up, I think we should really be appreciative for what we have. Be grateful. Even if you're like poor in Vancouver, right? Like,
Yeah.
just appreciate what you have compared to the rest of the world.
A gratitude mindset. Oh, wait, no. Someone I know says positive mental attitude all the time. It's like the thing they say. Positive mental attitude.
I like that. Positive mental attitude.
Every once in a while I'll talk to him. I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. It's maybe a bit negative. He's like, positive mental attitude. And I was like, I know.
There you go. He brings you back into that positive bubble, right?
Uh-huh.
That's nice. So did you, I guess you're from BC, right? Like you grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up on the Sunshine Coast. Shout out to Sunshine Coast.
Nice.
That's where Chad is.
Yeah. He's all the way up in next to Seashell out there.
Yeah, I mean, all the way up. But I think it's like from here, probably a 35-minute drive to the ferry, then a 45-minute ferry, and then a 10-minute drive to his house. So it's like...
Yeah. It's a bit of a ways away.
Yeah.
But where did you grow up in the Sunshine Coast?
Egmont, which is at the very end, just before you take the ferry over to Powell River. I think the population is probably greater than 100, but it feels like 100. Super small.
You grew up in a town of 100 people or less?
I don't actually know what the real population was, but I remember going to like town meetings or like town hall events for Christmas or whatever. And as far as I know, with my perception as a kid, the entire town would come and there'd be under 100 people. But I'm sure some people don't come. Like there's one town hall. It's where you go. There's one corner store that sells gas for both cars and boats. And it sold movies. It sold basic groceries. And then there was one pub. That was the town.
That's incredible. Like I come from Montreal, the second biggest city in Canada. So
Yeah.
for me to like think about that is hard, you know? So how was it growing up like that for you? I
yearned for the city. I grew up wild. I grew up a wild child in the woods with no supervision. I did whatever I wanted.
That's incredible.
I made friends with fairies and made up stories and told my mom about the fairies that lived in the garden and went to would show her them and like leave gifts for them. And I had not very many friends because it was so remote. Like your closest friends would be a 5-minute boat ride down the water, and that's the only way to access their house.
So everybody kind of has a large piece of land or house to themselves before the neighbor would.
Yeah, but at the same time, growing up like that, the kids of us that were there, it was definitely a community raised the children mindset.
I love that.
So like each person there who had children, they all kind of raised all the town children together. So we'd be at a park, all of us kids, and one parent would be watching us at all times, but not all parents because they all chipped in. And that was cool. It was really cool to grow up that way. And we were allowed to do almost literally whatever we wanted as kids. It was very unsupervised in that regard. And we learned a lot of skills doing that too. Like I learned how to drive a boat by the time I was 4. Just basic getting it to the shore because I had to. It was a safety thing. If something happened to my parents while we were on the water, which is where we primarily spent a lot of time, I had to know how to get the boat to shore. So then you learn how to drive cars really young too. You learn how to fish and like forage for food out in the forest. You just learn a lot of independence.
You are really fortunate to have those skills. I find like right now more than ever, I think that's a very valuable skill to have. Because like we saw during the pandemic, remember? Everybody was rushing to the superstores and everybody's freaking out. So imagine in a situation where there's nothing left and the only way you know how to get food is go to the grocery store for food.
Sometimes I dream of this reality.
Yeah, because you know how to survive in it, right? You're like, I'm good. See ya. Back up to Egmont.
Yeah, actually, I'd probably go up to Smithers or like interior that way, because coastal places, there's just a lot of population down here that are going to be going to the more coastal places around this area, whereas not many people are going to head up. Up is harder to live in, but if you know how to live there, it's going to be fine. You'll be fine.
Interesting. Wow.
Don't take my ideas.
How long did you live? Like, so you were born there and then raised there up until what age?
How old was I? I think I was 7 when I went to go live in Coquitlam with my sister, and then 9 or 10 when I went to go live back with my dad on the Sunshine Coast. And once my parents had split up, and then I lived with him probably until I was 12 or 13. And then we moved back to Vancouver. I lived with my mom after that, and then up to Smithers until I was 20 or 19, until I graduated high school and then came down to Victoria.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So you bounce around quite a bit.
Yeah, very bouncy. Don't know what staying in one place feels like.
Do you think, do you like that, or do you wish you had more stability?
I like it. But I don't know anything different.
That's right. Like that's
so.
Kind of
How
all
are you
know.
Supposed to compare something if you don't have the other experience?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I feel like I'm fortunate. Do you feel like you're fortunate? You grew up in Montreal. What was that like? Was it suburban?
No, I grew up in the city, so it was like really city vibe, you know.
Like apartment building?
No, I grew up in a duplex.
Apartment building-ish, adjacent.
Yeah, and it's a duplex, but I was surrounded by apartment buildings. There was like 2 streets of duplexes, and then pretty much a whole bunch of apartment buildings after that. And yeah, it was cool. I mean, the city vibe is cool for certain things. Like a lot of cool things come out of the city, like music and different kind of creative things, right? Because so many people are in one place together, and then they create stuff. And Montreal is unique because it's very cultural.
It's artistic, isn't it? Like
Very
a lot of
artistic,
artists
yeah.
in Montreal.
But there's so much culture there. Like Toronto and Montreal have so much culture. Like it's a melting pot. You could walk around and see the whole world. You know what I mean? Just like
and
as far as
that's a
faces.
cool experience in its own.
Yeah. Different foods and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of why I love culture so much.
That's where you got that from.
Part of it is from being from Montreal, I think. Yeah.
So as let's say like a 10-year-old boy on an after school day or a weekend, what are you going to be doing for fun in Montreal where you grew up?
10-year-old boy.
Like, what does that look like?
I have bad memory, but let's say a little further down, maybe 12, 13.
Okay, let's go for a good memory. Yeah.
I was playing basketball, honestly, most of the time.
Okay.
So after school, play basketball.
And you had like a group of people you would do that with or join or whatever?
Yeah, I had a group of friends by that time, and we would all be into basketball. We were very active. So play basketball, hang out. I would go to the library a lot, actually, but I wasn't really reading books.
What's that, the library?
The library was like the hangout spot.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, because after school, if you go there, there was a park next to it, and you can go to the park and you can just kind of hang out with your friends and have a reason to hang out with your friends and pretend like you're doing work or something.
Oh, I did that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to Montreal before?
No, but I've always wanted to go.
Oh, okay. You got to come one day for sure.
It's on my list. Pretty high up there. My mom's going in May, the end of May. And I really, really wanted to go with her, but she was like, someone has to watch the dogs. Fair enough. That's the thing. Like, we've never been on a family vacation because someone always has to be home watching the dogs.
Yeah. No, I love dogs. I love like animals and stuff like that. That's the only thing that holds me back from having them is the travel aspect. Like it holds me back from traveling. If I had a big home with land, I'd probably have animals. But like if you're in an apartment and stuff,
But then
it's
you
just
can't
like,
leave. If you have any type of farm, like good luck leaving
oh,
your
that's
farm.
true too. Yeah. I guess you're right.
Unless you have the funds to hire out all of that work. I hope you do one day. Like that would be cool.
I'm aiming
Fingers
for it.
crossed, aiming for it.
Yeah.
Then like, yeah, you can't leave, really, unless you have family members who can look after it for you.
Yeah, that's a full-time lifestyle, right?
It
Just like taking
is.
care of the garden, taking care of the animals. And,
Yeah, I have a few friends who are farmers in different areas of farming, and they don't leave very often. When they do, they have to like make sure it's taken care of, or or time it right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because they can die quickly, right? Like all the work that you put in.
Yeah.
If you just miss a couple of days, it's like all gone. Yeah.
Which would be tough if that's your living.
Yeah. No, for sure. You know some organic farmers?
I know an organic farmer. Yes, his name's Joe. Joe the farmer. Farmer Joe.
Okay. Which area is he in?
Smithers.
Okay.
In
Nice.
the Bulkley Valley. He grows a mean carrot.
Nice. I gotta go visit Joe.
You would like Smithers, actually.
Yeah.
For short periods of time. I don't think you'd like to spend lots of time there. Knowing you, from what I know of you.
Yeah, I like to move around a lot. For sure, yeah.
But I think you'd find it interesting, that way of living for a little bit.
To be honest, I think one of my end goals, like if I had financial freedom and everything, one of my biggest goals is to have that life, just to be on a maybe like, let's say like 5-10 acres of land and just be out there working on my farm,
Lovely.
regenerative farming, animals, everything in cahoots, you know what I mean?
Do you think you could settle down to do that? Because you talk about traveling a lot, and you always talk about wanting to leave. No, I shouldn't say always, but you frequently talk about wanting to leave the country potentially, explore other places, you know?
It's a good question. I think by the time that I would reach the goal of having financial freedom, I would have done all those things.
We want that accomplished.
Yeah, like I would have traveled, I'd have businesses all over the world.
Yeah.
All those things would be out of my system.
You're hoping that that'll be out of your system, and then you can feel no longer such a pull.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because then I'd be like, okay, time to settle down. Let me do what I've always the thing that I've never done, which was have my own land, farm, and grow my own food and have those skills.
so you're looking for new experiences even in that.
Yeah,
I wonder what happens when that no longer becomes a new experience.
that's true. Yeah. And I feel like, this is a good topic to bring up, dopamine. I think because of the phones and the era we're in, we have so much dopamine hitting us every second, Instagram, this, that. Our brains are just wired a bit different. And I think not in a good way.
Yeah.
We can't enjoy things as much.
So many things that could be responsible for that too, or like all playing a role in that. There's a huge rise of ADHD and dopamine issues and phone addictions. And I think there's quite a few things in our society that play a part in that coming about. But yeah, we're on, next thing, next like, next video, next place. It can be interesting to navigate.
Do you have any suggestions for solutions to take back the freedom of our brains and not have that dependency on the likes and having the phone in our face every 2 seconds?
Oh, I don't know if I'm a solution girl. I'm more of a point out the problem girl and let someone smarter figure that out. Solutions? What do I do for myself? Okay.
Or just even in the big picture, how do you see, like, if you were like the president, or if you can change something, do you think that there would be a solution? Like, would you take away all the phone?
I think that there is a natural process to the evolution of societies or structures. And we are constantly evolving, and this is just part of our evolution, and we're in an in-between stage, and whatever comes next is what happens. But it's like when you have a messy room and you go to clean it, but it gets messier to try and get cleaner. Where I feel like, I don't know, I don't read about these things. I'm purely a fantasy reader. I read a lot of books, but it's all like not this.
All the fairies and stuff,
It's all the fairies. So I feel like we're in the messy room stage in an evolution of our society, and that as far as solutions go, I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better, in my opinion. And then people are gonna kind of dial it back, like with smoking. When cigarettes were released, everyone smoked. Smoking was like the thing. And then all that, like, it turns out it causes cancer. And then slowly smoking's not available in restaurants. It's no longer available at bus stops, or people don't smoke in their house anymore. You can't smoke on the airplane anymore. That's been brought back. There's been rules and regulations put in place, but it happens over a natural evolution.
We are family, because that's exactly how I think. The same, like exactly what you just said before is how I think. When I think about this thing,
Yeah.
I think this is a natural process of evolution, right? We're just in that stage, and we're at this stage of evolution where technology is where it's at, where everyone's in their phone, but eventually things will sort itself out.
Yes. I don't hear people talk about that very often, and maybe I am crazy, and maybe I'm not very smart, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Maybe we're just too smart.
Maybe we're just too smart. But that's just kind of what it feels like to me. And I would like to say I have something that backs that up, but I don't. I don't have any information that backs that feeling up or that kind of idea up. I just have vibes.
We have strong intuition. The intuition takes us very far.
Do you believe in intuition?
I do. I think I have a very strong intuition. Even for people, like if I meet someone, I feel like I just know them so well before even talking to them.
I feel the same way.
It's really crazy.
About people. Yeah.
Like I can sum them up super quick.
Yeah.
And people are impressed. They look at me like, how did you know that? I'm like, I just know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just intuition. Yeah. Some kind of depth that I can't explain. Yeah.
You can get a lot from people's online presence as well, but you can only get what they choose to put out there from their online presence. But it still gives you kind of a vibe of people. And so I'm saying that because the only interaction I had of you was your online presence. We didn't really talk very much.
That's true. Yeah. So you're just looking at the photos. You're like, okay, and then you make your own kind of.
Yeah. And so what was that other thing I was hearing? The idea I have of you is based off of my experience with other people, because your brain can't just make up things. So the way you view me is going to be different than the way everyone else views me. The way I view you is going to be different from the way everyone else views you. So how I saw you online was like, how long have I known you now online? Like 6 years, I would say.
Let's say probably longer than that.
Probably longer than 6 years.
Yeah, probably like 8 or something.
8 years? That's a long. It's like
that's crazy if you think about it. Like 8 years and we just met now.
We suck.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I thought that you were kind of like an entrepreneurial type. You gave me that vibe. I thought that you were kind of not able to settle a whole lot because you explored a lot. I thought that you were probably pretty like down to earth and didn't do a lot of like didn't focus a lot on drama. And those were kind of like my initial impressions
Well, that's really good. Yeah.
based on just social media. But that's what you choose to put out there. That's what you've chosen to give.
Yeah. And just subconsciously, I guess, just because I put out things naturally. Like some people really calculate what they put out, right? They'll put like, okay, cigar here, and they'll like do everything, but that's not actually how they live. And some people are just natural. Like I feel like if I feel it, I'll post it. I'm not really thinking about it too much, you know. So if you're natural in the way you post, then you can give off the natural vibe that you have.
And I think
You too. I mean, like I think
that's the best
how
way.
you are online is how you are in person. I think.
You
as
think
well.
so?
Yeah.
I think I come across as kind of a not very nice girl sometimes online. Do you think? 'Cause I feel like
Maybe a bit of sarcasm.
I'm very sarcastic, and
Yeah.
I'd really try to put that out there.
Yeah.
It's my
But you're funny though. Like you have humor. You have a unique personality, and in a good way.
yeah. I do worry that it comes across a little bit more cold and heartless than I am in actual life. Do you feel that it does?
I don't think heartless, but I think there's a bit of that element, like
Yeah.
online, because some of the things you post, it could give that vibe.
Yeah.
But you're totally not a heartless and cold person.
Okay.
For sure.
Not in real life, at least.
Yeah, not in real life.
And I think you kind of hide a bit of your vulnerable side of your personality online because you're really putting yourself out there. You kind of maybe hide vulnerable parts of your personality from the internet. And so maybe I'm using the extreme sarcasm and kind of meanness. There's another word I would use for it, but to appear less vulnerable. I feel like I do that a lot.
That's interesting. Yeah, like put up kind of like a little wall.
A little wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, I mean, we tend to do that because people judge, right? People are very judgy. People are mean, especially online, because they're keyboard
So
warriors, right?
Ugh. I catch myself doing that sometimes too, though.
Oh,
Do
really?
you?
I don't do that. No.
No? Oh, I wish I didn't. Sometimes you're just in a mood and someone says something and you're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, and I really hold myself back on those. I just, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't do that.
Good.
I probably have done it maybe
Good.
once or twice in life when I was super
I'm
angry or
so
something,
proud
but
of
I'm not
you.
like that.
That's great.
Thank goodness. I'm grateful that I'm not like that person, but it is what it is. Everybody is who they are, and some people express themselves more than others. I'm not very expressive. Like I hold a lot in.
In real life,
Yeah.
your eyes are expressive and your hands are expressive. Your body stays kind of like this, but you're pretty expressive with this part of your face, with your vocal inflections a bit, and with your hands. Your body movements are a little more subtle, but they do have a bit of a tell.
I feel like there's so much more though.
You feel like
Like
there's
this
so
is
much
like
more.
a very small percentage of, yeah.
And also, we are currently filming for online.
That too, that can add another barrier. Do you feel like I'm different before when we were speaking before we turned the cameras on to now?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. No,
I think just in my posture, maybe.
just in your posture.
posture.
Posture. Your posture is different. Your posture is obviously a little.
Trying to hold myself together a little more.
It's great. I'm like
Yeah,
slouching.
that's good. Just be you. I wish I could do that more, but yeah.
Okay, here. There we go. Yeah, your posture is a little more rigid, but other than that, no, I don't. You don't feel all that different.
I'm pretty real, right? I'm just kind of, I say how I feel. I say what I mean. I'm asking you questions how I'd probably just ask you like we were upstairs.
Yeah, that was such a good conversation. I wish we'd been recording.
Yeah, I was like, let's turn the cameras on right now. We were just vibing and talking. It was awesome.
Yeah. But no, I don't think you're that different of a person. I do think also I am just meeting you, so your behavior is going to be edited regardless.
I guess you're right. Yeah, like we all portray an image. Like everybody portrays an image to the outside world.
People open up maybe a bit the more you get to know someone.
Yeah, yeah.
The version of you your wife sees is completely different than the version I'm going to see.
Absolutely.
At least at first, and hopefully like it's okay to be that a little guarded. And at first, when you're first meeting people, you don't know me. I don't know you. I was so nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Open up. You were nervous to meet me. Why?
I was so nervous. I had, at least when I was younger, a lot of social anxiety. And
I can't tell that, actually.
exposure therapy works wonders, man. Like I would have panic attacks going to the grocery store, anywhere I thought people had a higher authority than me. Not good. We talked about school, how we wouldn't do presentations at school. We'd be like, you can fail me. I'm not doing the presentation.
Yeah.
Massive like social anxiety disorder. And then I had enough of it. And I was like, I'm going to move to a town I've never been to before, to where I know no one. And I'm going to get a job in the most public thing I can think of. And at the time it was public ambassador for a club.
Wow. So you really pushed yourself because you wanted to grow and you wanted to evolve.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But that still comes out. So I was super, super nervous, but it's like one of those things where you just you do it anyway. And I was excited to meet you. I'm very grateful that there's someone else in this city that I can hang out with, reach out to, have a connection with. It's Vancouver can be a lonely city.
It is. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I was like, oh, I hope it goes well. What if we don't get along? Like, we have been friends on Facebook for so long. There's this like expectation maybe built up too much. And it's like, you don't know, you're married. I was going to say, do you know when you match with someone on a dating app and then if you go on a date right away, you're like, let's just go on a date. You get it over with. It's fine that expectation hasn't built up. Whereas like, you're like, oh, let's go in 3 weeks. And then it keeps building up and you're like, and then all of a sudden you're
I
like,
understand. Yeah, what you're saying. There's like, what's the word?
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I know, like,
forgetting so many words today. It's just slipping from my mind.
But you know what I mean.
But there's the build up. Yeah. There's the anticipation.
Anticipation.
There we go.
Yes. Anticipation. Okay. The anticipation built up.
Yeah, that can be. I thought about that the other day, actually, not in this context, but another one where life is much harder. You make it much harder on yourself when you do that. Right? When you build up that anticipation, like, okay, if you have to do something in a week and you're thinking about it, okay, I have to do this presentation. It was actually in the context of public speaking and presentation.
Okay.
So I was thinking, if you have a public speaking presentation in 1 week, and you're thinking about that every day, it's going to be much worse than if you were just thrown on stage and you had to speak.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, I think so. But you have enough time if it's in a week to go over it and go over every single possible scenario that could go wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
You, instead of just throwing yourself into the fray, I guess would be a phrase I would use.
The fray?
Into the fray?
What does the fray mean?
I don't know. It's from a poem.
Oh.
Into the fray, is it not?
You know what? You give me the vibe like of that person. Like you said, you played with fairies and stuff, and you were very like. It kind of gives me like Lord of the Rings vibes a little bit too.
Oh my gosh, so
But
many
you
people
seem like
tell
that,
me
like-
that I feel like an elf. That's very common.
That's really cool though.
I don't know if part of me does resonate with that and part of me likes that and thank you, it's a compliment. But part of me also wants to be like a business babe who's like more down to earth, maybe closed off is the word.
Yeah, no, because you are down to earth. Like you're more natural and down to earth, I think, because you grew up in the wild setting. Because if you grew up in the city, you're more, you're more like put together in a way that society expects you to be, and you just kind of look like everyone else. But you have a unique thing about you, and now I can see where that comes from. Is growing up in a small community,
A
and
really
being free.
unique childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. That our childhood shapes us. We were talking about that earlier too. Were you nervous at all?
I don't know. I think like not really, because I'm so used to just meeting different people all the time.
Yeah, this has been kind of part of your life.
Exactly. So, and I grew up in this city, but the interesting thing is I also think that I grew up with social anxiety,
You were talking
but
about
I
that.
didn't ever think of it like I had a problem. It was just something I'm like, oh, I'm shy.
Yeah. Is it a It's not really a problem. I wouldn't say it's a problem. I think it's something you should work on, but it's not like the end of the world. People are allowed to have a little bit of shyness to them.
Yeah, like we're all different, and I think people these days, I think people really heighten things too much. So if they're like, "Oh, I have anxiety," and then they create a label, and then it makes them, it just destroys their life. Like you're allowed to have anxiety,
Everything's labeled.
right? And now you think you have this issue, like I'm this, like it's okay, you know.
I know a lot of people, and that's a big thing coming up lately as well in children. We're very much so diagnosing very many things. But so you weren't nervous at all? Were you excited?
I think there's always a bit of the nervous element.
Okay.
So I probably had a very small amount, but not enough for me to be like, I'm nervous. I was definitely excited because I've been wanting to meet you for a long time.
A long time, yeah.
Yeah, because I love meeting family members, and like we've been on each other's social medias for like 8 years. So it's like
It's a
long time
long
coming.
time. Like
Yeah, and I met your brother, and I work with him and all that. So
nearly a decade. It's pretty close too.
goes quick though.
Ugh. Yeah,
Man,
unfortunately.
time flies. Time flies.
So, what year did you meet my brother?
It must have been. So I moved here in 2015 to Richmond. And it was probably the same year. It was like 2015 or 2016, like right away, because
Okay.
Paul was like hooking me up. Oh, you got cousins there and there.
Paul.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, let me go see what's going on out
That's
here.
so kind of him.
Yeah. Shout out to Paul again.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
did you
yeah.
think of it? What did you think
Of
of
Chad? I think Chad is what did I think? It was a while ago. I think that he's wild also.
He's wild, yeah.
Because he grew up also like up there, right?
Oh yeah, it's a up. No, up. Yes.
Like further up. I think he told me he grew up like all the way up there somewhere.
When you say up there, do you mean like the Sunshine Coast up there, or
Yeah, so
like?
I
Do you
think
mean because
told
he
me
grew up
the
in Burns
interior.
Lake?
Is that Sunshine
Burns Lake?
Coast?
No, Burns Lake is close to. It's about 2 or 3 hours from Smithers. Actually, Smithers is a little more north.
Okay, so yeah, for some reason I had in my mind up north, Sunshine Coast, all the way up there. So I guess he grew up in the interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burns Lake.
Because his mom was from there? Or?
His mom's from Burns Lake. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know his timeline very well. I do know that he did end up moving to the Sunshine Coast at some point. He was around when I was a kid.
Okay.
I actually don't know his age, so I don't know how much older he is than me either. So
Really?
I have no idea.
He's older than me.
He's older than me, so he's definitely older than you.
Yeah. He's probably like in his
I don't know.
40s right now, at least.
I'm sorry, Chad. Mid
Chad, sorry.
40s?
Probably mid 40s.
It's like
if
a
I'd had to
guess?
guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought he was really interesting. I think he was wild because he grew up like that. Like he was making me like chop wood for the fire and stuff at his house, and like
Was it the first time?
I may have done it, but not that serious before. But this was like I was living with him, so
City boy goes
I
to
gotta
the
help
woods.
out. Yeah, I'm like trying to chop one. I'm like I'm tired after one hit,
Yeah.
and yeah, he lives very wild. Just like the dogs are everywhere.
But to them, that's not.
To him, it's
That's normal. To people
he
who
lives with the wild,
live
right?
in smaller communities, that's a normal lifestyle. That's life.
All the doors are open and it's like freezing at night, and I'm like under the covers, like the mosquitoes are everywhere.
Yeah, I remember it.
I'm trying to fight with the mosquitoes. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get bitten
It's
alive
a losing
all night.
battle.
Yeah. So that was the biggest challenge for me living with him,
Yeah.
but we had a lot of fun, and it made me realize how city boy I was.
You had a little perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like I had a really interesting mixture of country and city lifestyle growing up. And so I've always had this kind of ability to be able to compare the two and understand the two. And that they're people in the city, like they can be city people. And they really stand out when they go to the country and vice versa.
And so if you were growing up, say if you were in Egmont, right, and then you saw a city person, what would it be about that person in their mannerisms or attitude that would make them stand out?
That's such a good question. What is it?
I mean, there's just a thing. Like, I know what you mean. Like, if I looked at them, I'll be like, okay, just the way they dress, just the way they're, move their hands and things like that. Even that you can tell, probably, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be body language. They always dress like, oh, okay. You know, like the basic person who goes out for coffee in Kitsilano, kind of dressed maybe like that. Whereas if you're going to go get coffee in the country, you're probably wearing like a dirty plaid shirt because you've been working in the woods all day, and like you're not. None of your clothes aren't going to be clean because you're a working person. You're outside exposed to the elements, and you're not worrying about scuffs on your shoes. That's just so far from your mindset.
I like that. I like that because I've never gotten this perspective from someone like yourself who has grown up that way.
I love both of them. I love getting like dirty in the mud, but also I want to dress up and go to a gala. Both are great.
All ways of life are beautiful, right? Like even like when you travel, each country has its beauty, pros and cons. Yeah.
The most helpful people I came across, and I've only been to, I think, like 20 or 21 countries. But the most helpful people I came across, I'm pretty sure it was mixed between like the Italians and the Turkish.
Yeah, they have very hospitable cultures.
Very
for sure.
hospitable.
Especially Turkish. Would you say, if you had to rate them both, like Italian and Turkish, who would you say more?
More fits me?
More hospitable.
More hospitable? Oh, the Turkish are more hospitable, in my opinion, from what I experienced.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
It's just in their culture. It's just like ingrained in them.
Italians are like, they will be very helpful, but the Turkish people do it with like a smile on their face. From what I experienced, I went into just some random people's houses for tea when I was there. I needed to find a dentist, and one guy I came across, he was like, "Oh, what are you looking for?" Yeah, like I was outside a mosque. I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for a dentist." He's like, "Oh, my uncle's sister's daughter is a dentist, and he takes me to his uncle's sister's daughter's workshop, and he like introduces me, and his uncle takes me to the girl's place, and I get my teeth done." And it was just some random guy, and he spent the next 3 days with me trying to help me get my teeth fixed.
Wow. Yeah, that's a different level. Like, you can't really find that here. That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen here.
No. That's what I love about those countries.
Oh, that's something else that I noticed between country people and city people is city people. So I was dating this guy, and he's like, "Why do people talk to you all the time? Like, why do people just come up to you in the streets and start conversations? Or like, why are we at the grocery store and people are just chatting with you?" And I said, "Oh, I think it's because I grew up in the country. And it's like a way you hold yourself. You feel more open. You hold yourself more open. You have a tone of voice that's more open. And so people are more willing to engage with you. Whereas in the city, people don't have that as much, and they're a little more closed off. Because when you're in the country or in smaller towns, you're going to stop and chat with Joe down the road."
Yeah, you trust everyone. It's a community. Like, you know everybody. You know no one's going to hurt you, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and like, of course, I don't know for sure. I could just be talking out my butt again, but I do that a lot. But that is something I do notice is country people, or people who grew up with having that more of an open community, have a different vibe. And I'm very likely to get approached in the street and having someone start a conversation.
Yeah, that's nice. That warmth, right?
To
get that, that's what it feels like to be human, I think. You know what I mean? How humans can be, potentially.
Living in the city is being human as well. It's just a different thing. One or the other isn't better or worse. They're just different, in my opinion. Some people don't want to be approached on the street.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think my word human I didn't use the right word. I guess I was trying to put it in another context, like more like.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
No.
shoot down your idea.
It's good. It's good because I need to refine it, or else people are gonna misconstrue what I'm saying. So I don't even know where to start with this, but I'll leave it for later.
Do you feel like do people approach you in the street or in a grocery store? Like, so would someone start a conversation with you?
Not really.
No.
But I do that a lot.
But you do it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very I'll approach people easily.
Of course.
Like if I'm like, "Oh, I like your shoes," I'll tell them. If I see something I like, I'll tell.
Good. We need to do more of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Montreal is more like that than Vancouver is in that way. People are more like.
I've heard Montreal's so cool.
more social, more talkative. Yeah, I'm just more down to earth. Like you can stop someone on the street and talk.
Okay. You don't really do that here.
No, here I've noticed that it was much more cold in that way, and much harder to make friends here as well. And
Super hard.
A lot of people say that too.
Yeah, that's
And you're from BC, so, and I know you're kind of like city, country, you went back and forth, but
yeah.
you would understand it better than I do. Why do you think that Vancouver is that kind of, that way, where it's hard to make friends?
Oh God, I have no idea. I've been wondering the same thing. I've been here for just over a year, and my main friend here is a friend I have from Victoria. We've been friends for years. She moved here at the same time I did, and then other than that, I haven't actually made any friends. She has, and I've made a few friends through her. But it's really difficult, and I can't really figure out why.
Me neither. It's if anybody knows, that's actually good. Anybody knows this, the answer to this question, or have their own ideas, right? Put that in the comments, please, because I think a lot of people in Vancouver would love to know the answer to this question. We're all trying to figure it out. It's a mystery. So
I know.
Sorry for my just hitting the table there, but yeah.
I know this guy. He does a group called Adventures something. So sorry. Adventure, whatever. It's an adventure group, and it's for people in Victoria Vancouver, to meet strangers and meet up and go do fun activities.
Okay.
And I did one the other day. It was snowshoeing, and it's so much fun. And it's just all strangers who come to these meetups. If you follow him on Instagram.
Is it YVR Adventures?
Nope.
I think I follow this account actually.
He's a German guy, but I can't remember the account name. Adventure something.
I think I might follow it.
And it's really cool. It's a great way to meet people in Vancouver. I had a fun time. I met some cool people.
Have you done the Run Club? I'm part of the social Run Club.
You know, they say run clubs are the newest dating apps.
Oh, really? Eh? I met a lot of cool people there. We just go running. So if you haven't been, I'll take you like when it gets warmer. It's downtown.
I'm going to say yes because I love being a yes person. But like, I do feel like when I'm running, your brain is bouncing in your skull and you can feel it and it hurts. Do you get that?
No.
Okay.
Not much. But I can understand probably when it's hitting the concrete, you know what I mean? It's probably shaking you up a little bit. It's understandable.
I mean, I'm totally down for trying out a run club. That sounds fun.
So they run, and then after the run, they go get a coffee together. So they'll go to a cafe and then you can kind of have the social time too.
How cute. And how long are you running for?
I think it's about 5K if I'm not mistaken. So it's probably like an hour.
Is it like a light jog 5K?
Yeah, it's a light jog. And there's different levels. There's different instructors, like say like 3 different people. So you can go slow, medium, or fast.
Okay. What do
the
you
fast
do?
is not even that fast. I do fast because it's not that fast.
Do you mind doing the slow?
Yeah, I don't mind doing the slow.
But that sounds fun, actually. Run clubs are very popular in Vancouver. Oh, you know what? Maybe because people are looking for a way to meet each other, but there just isn't that structure here. There isn't that like atmosphere to Vancouver, I guess. And so that could be a reason run clubs have become so popular.
Yeah, I think so. And I've seen a lot more popping up like
all the
after
time.
I started. I'm like, oh, what is this run club thing I started? And
I'm seeing posts about it all the time on Instagram. People in their little run clubs.
Yeah. You all meet up at the beginning. So you meet up at a certain spot, like a park.
Yeah.
And then they kind of have like a little pep talk thing. Yeah. And it's really cool just to like get everybody feeling like, they're all part of the same thing.
Absolutely.
And then, all right, let's go for the run, guys.
Yeah. And then you leave your first run club and you realize you have to go buy the new hookahs.
Exactly. I remember, you know what? That's actually funny story, because the first time I went, I wasn't dressed looking like the other people. I was really just like threw on some shorts and a shirt and whatever. And I go there and they have like the fancy thing for their phone.
Oh, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They got nice gear on, like from the run shops and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just look so much more professional. I'm like, oh man.
It's part of the culture. When you join something like that, you're joining a mini culture, and like everyone's kind of fitting into that culture. It's like you need that arm strap. Mm-hmm. It's part of the culture.
And it's hard because even for like, I was holding my phone and I'm like, oh, this is not comfortable. I'm running with my phone, And I'm like, I want that arm strap.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
That's how they get you. Are your eyeballs okay? You've got like a lot of sun in your face
Oh,
right
do
now.
I? Uh-oh. Yeah, the sun's creeping in. Well, I guess we'll come to a close here. We've probably been talking for a long time.
An hour and 26 minutes.
An hour and 26 minutes.
Which is
See how
pretty good.
natural that was? That was quick. I don't know. For me, it was quick. How
Yeah,
about
it
you?
was.
We flow.
It was a stream of thought, not really about one particular subject, but it was a good time. It was good to like just shoot the shit with you and
That's
get to
right.
know you as a person.
I agree. That was totally awesome. Put it up here. High five that.
High five.
Dang. We couldn't. This table's too damn big. We're going to
Awesome.
find another podcast spot soon.
This is a great one. I love the lighting in here.
Yeah, it is beautiful. So you met my cousin Briellen, and so have I in person for the first time. So I thought it was really interesting to share this moment with whoever's watching. Hopefully there's some valuable knowledge, information, something you can take from this. Whether it's join a run club, whether it's go up to the country and learn some survival skills,
How to raise a
Whether-
child differently.
whether it's play with the fairies and be creative, or just meet that family member that you haven't met for 8 years for the first time. So, Tea with G, always a pleasure. Thank you, cousin Briellen.
It's been so lovely to meet you, Gabriel.
You too. Thank you so much. We'll see you again.
Of course.
Take care. Tea with G, peace.